What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be previewing Showdown 51. Yes, that's right, Showdown 51 is upon us, round 3 of the 2022 AFL season. This Friday night, and the first ever Showdown on a Friday night. It's Port Adelaide versus Adelaide. The Adelaide Crows home game, and it's a very enticing one indeed. The game itself will be sharing the time slot with Melbourne versus Essendon, so it's not getting the rightful Friday night exposure that normal Friday night games would do, but nonetheless it's going to be a ripping contest between two teams that are in absolutely a rabble at the moment, and you don't know who's going to win this one because both teams have shown no form whatsoever. So it's an interesting one for the fans, it's an interesting one for the punters as well, because we've got no idea what's going to be happening. It's very hard to preview this one, but regardless, let's get straight into it and let's preview Showdown 51.
Rolls-Royce toes it away. Is this his moment? He's got Robbie Gray waiting for it. ThePear for the lead. An epic. Showdown 50 is a ripper. Port Adelaide in front. But King Charles pushes the lead out to 2 kicks.
Aliir just pushes Himmelberg a little bit under the ball, picked up by Dursma. Here's the last chance. Lynch has a shot. He's got it. He's got it to give him a chance. 3 minutes on the clock. They're back in town, the Crows. Jones needs to go strong and direct, but he's kicked it straight to Aliir. And Aliir, the superstar of the night. How appropriate that he's the man to thwart the advance. 20 seconds, 50, was it? No. Plays on, under pressure, thumps it long up the line, 15 seconds and counting, need a mark. Bergman was sensational, he takes the mark, and it's game over. And Port Adelaide win. Port Adelaide win Showdown 50. It's going to be 26-24, and Port Adelaide are going to be entrenched in the top 4. With a big chance now of a top 2 and a home final against a gallant Adelaide Crows football team.
It's arrived, it's showdown time, and I tell you what, this is the least excited I've been for a showdown in a while, because there's a very, very good chance that Port Adelaide don't get the job done this week. I'm hoping that's the case. I hope they do come out, they play fantastic football and forget the misery of the first 2 rounds, come out, get the first win of the year, and just get a proper start and get some momentum going, because we've got some big games coming up after this one, and the time doesn't stop for Port Adelaide. And Adelaide, well, they're 0-2. There's been a bit of a downgrade in what we expected from them. A disregarded performance against Collingwood, and Fremantle, well, they were just unlucky not to win at home. But this is their home showdown, the Crows. The first time they've had a home showdown with a massive crowd in, I think, nearly 3 years now, and they haven't won a showdown in a little bit, so they'll be keen to get their campaign going for season 2022. And for Port Adelaide, well, as I said, they want to get some momentum going and actually kickstart their year. Hot favourites, which is a very surprising look at this game, because both teams have not shown anything that's going to warrant any favouritism this week. It's going to be a contest out of the middle. That's 100% given. Because we've seen both teams have got great midfielders, and the entries inside 50 are going to be crucial for Port Adelaide, more so because they want to get that efficiency going. And I think it'll be a makeshift look for Port Adelaide this week. I will touch on the Crows, but overall, looking at Port Adelaide for this Friday night, any changes I'll start with. I'm looking at 4 at the moment. I really do feel like some change needs to happen, and it's going to start with Todd Marshall. I think he does come out. I think overall his performance just hasn't been good enough, and we know that. And I'm going to state that, and I've backed him. I keep backing him. But when you have a forward disposal game as a key component, a key forward, that's just not acceptable in this day and age. So I think Todd Marshall will come out. I do think someone like Mackenzie does fall out as well. And it does leave us a little bit short down back, and I'll get to that in a second. But Mackenzie's just banged up and bruised. He deserves a rest, so I would give him one, especially with the 6-day turnaround. Joshy Sin did look pretty good last week. I just think he needs a bit more time moving about, and I would be happy to give him another opportunity this week in a showdown. But there's a lot of pressure on this game, and he didn't quite look comfortable last week with the pressure that Hawthorn were applying. So still a lot to learn for the kid. Game time would be crucial for him to really get some improvement going. But at the same time, I think a little bit down the track, he can come back in and really build his season nicely. For the ins, I think Hayes comes into the side. I do think Sam Mays gets an opportunity as well, and Robbie Gray to come in too. I think there's some big ins there. And Robbie Gray, whilst he did miss last week, is a showdown specialist and a massive in. Does Charlie Dixon play? I don't think so. I think he deserves a week just to run through and get some match fitness in the Magpies side earlier in the day, actually in the showdown that we'll play beforehand. So if you can get some time in there and really show some fight and show some aggression, then kick a couple of goals, he'll be right back in for the mix against Melbourne next week. And there's another 6-day turnaround. That's the key thing for me. It's a 6-day turnaround. Banged up and bruised. We look lethargic and tired in the first 2 rounds, and some fresh faces coming into the side early on may help rejuvenate a bit of fight for Port Adelaide. And a rejigged forward line, I think going a bit smaller will help, because if we're going tall, we just naturally do what we do and just bang it inside 50. But if we go shorter, we go Georgiadis and you go Finlayson, and then Lysette will roll through there with Hayes and the Lysette combo. They won't be as often. There'll be a lot more interchange rotations between the taller boys. And going smaller, having the Robbie Gray, the Connor Rosie, Motlop. I think Motlop actually in the first couple of weeks, whilst he was the sub against Brisbane, last week he did show something that was capable enough of keeping him in the side this week. He kicked that great goal in the third quarter, applied a lot of pressure down forward, and was one of the few that I thought, well, I didn't think he was great, and I don't think it warrants him a selection guarantee, but I just think, he was, relevant. It was relevant to the game last week, where a lot of us didn't actually run through and show any fight. So I think this week, and then you just change it back to the back line as well, with Mackenzie going out. Maybe even Miles Bergman comes back into the side. I don't know if he's ready enough, but having a good run around last week, he got through the game in the trial, so maybe there's a chance for him to come back in. But going small down back, the Crows have Fogarty, they have Himmelberg, they might bring in Thilthorpe, and that could be a game changer again for the defensive line. But having Jonas on Fogarty, he's done it before, do a good job, and I think Skinner on Himmelberg. They don't have a potent forward line. The smalls are actually what I'm worried about with Jimmy Rowe, and Rochelli's been fantastic. So they don't have a potent forward line, the Crows. So we'll be able to, I think, if we're switched on, that's the main thing for Port Adelaide, switching on and being defensively right, offensively right, and smart. On paper, we should beat the Crows easily. Port Adelaide should beat the Crows easily, but it's not the case. It's a showdown. That's the top priority. It's a showdown. We're leading the ledger 26-24. It's at a point now for Port Adelaide that it doesn't matter who we play. We've got to be on. Can't expect to roll into this week. We did it last week, 100%. Mentally, we came into that game with such high expectations from the fans, such a special night. We came in expecting it to all to happen. Didn't happen, and we were beaten, not in just the same way we're normally beaten. We were beaten badly in offense and defense, and we can't let that happen again, because the Crows will come. The Crows will fight. We saw the showdown last year. We expected to come in and roll in and win by 15 goals. They had no one on the park, and they still got within a goal. It's just that type of mentality for Port Adelaide that's going to lose us this game. And it's going to lose us so much more. If you go 0-3, Port Adelaide, I would almost write us off finals. That's how important this game is for Port. A lot more on the line for Port than the Crows. The Crows, a massive night for them. Friday night showdown. They're going to have their whole fan base there, full capacity for the first time in a while for a showdown. That's their key component. It's their home showdown. They're going to have a lot of momentum, and it's a great celebration for them. For Port, it's so much more than just the showdown. It's the season. It's the expectations. It's Ken Hinckley's job. This is all building, and there's a lot of players that I would be very much one-on-one challenging right now to get this job done. And I said it last week, right across the park in the review, we were demoralised and beaten with attitude. It was not even the touches. It was just the attitude and the plan of what we had. And if Port Adelaide can rectify that in some way, even if we just turn it around 50% from last week, and you hit the scoreboard a little bit, we ended up with 7 goals, 14. You flip that around and go 14-7, 91. 90 will win you the game of footy this week. Defensively, if you didn't concede 60 points, I'm happy to win this showdown by 5 goals, 4 goals, 3 goals. I'll win it by a point. I don't care. Just win the game. That's what Port Adelaide should be focusing on. I heard the review was very extensive, very eye-opening, and it surprised me on that because I thought, well, I would have thought the prelim review would have been eye-opening and revolutionising and motivating us to go into this week, or into this year. But this week, if that review's happened, then I'm looking at the players that were in that middle tier. Your Dersmas, your Rosies. Carl Amon was very good last week, but wasn't to his best, and he still had 29 touches. You can't rely heavily on Boak, Wines, and Jonas down back, and Georgiadis up forward. Georgiadis as well, he's got a lift. I mentioned it in the review. You've got these capabilities, you've got these strong points. And in a showdown, he's got to just clunk a couple. You kick a couple of goals, everything changes for the team, the momentum changes, and the attitude changes. So overall for this showdown, and I've blabbered on here, I'm sorry about that, but just to preview this, in one sentence, it's simple. Port Adelaide have a job to do, and they've got to come out and do it. The Crows, all they have to do is apply a little bit of pressure, and they could very much be in this game and, in fact, win it. In saying that, I'm tipping Port by 25 points. Head over heart, I do think we will win. I think we will bounce back, and we've got to make some sort of a statement. And I don't think it even needs to be a statement to the AFL, to every other club saying, yeah, no, we're still here, don't worry about us. You're not going to do that against the Crows in a showdown. What this needs to be is a statement to the fans, to the people that are bought in, that are wanting so much more. They deserve so much more than a 0-2 start. This needs to be a 1-2 start now, and a win for the fans this week, because that is what the most important thing for Port Adelaide is at the moment, is winning back their fans, getting some credibility back, and winning this game of football. You do that, then you can start again. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, Port fans and Crows fans, everyone coming on, and what you think on this week's game, because it's going to be such a crucial one, a massive Friday night game. We're looking forward to it. If I don't get to attend, there very much could be a live stream, so just keep an eye out for that. The works are still in there to see if I'm going to attend this week or not, so keep an eye out for across all the socials. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content coming your way across the season of 2022. Let's hope this week's a win. My name's Anthony, and as always, calm the pair.